Hi, everyone. Greetings. I'm Nola Joy Carello, president of Nola Joy Carello Productions. And with me today, I'm so honored, is Sal Gentile. Zell and his lovely wife, Maddie, live in sunny Florida. Hi, Sal.
Hi, Jim, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great, actually, and happy Military May. Today is May 1st, and the first day that
Yeah,
we honor our military.
that's right. But before we get there, I want to properly introduce you. Sal Gentile is a national, international tinnitus expert health coach. And we are very excited. Today is Thursday, May 1st, 2025. The first day of May. Can you believe that? In sunny weather here. And it's appreciation for Military Appreciation Month. And Sal, why would we be honoring our veterans and our disabled veterans and our non-veterans?
Jim, actually, today I thought about five good reasons to answer part of your question on why we would honor veterans,
Mhm.
particularly with November 11th, Veterans Day coming up. Um, so many of our veterans who are now disabled,
Uh-huh.
we want to recognize their courage and remember how much we needed them and the continued support that we show them, and not just on Military May, but every day of the year. Many return home with wounds, no arms, no legs, half-burned faces from napalm. I can recall actually attending a military dinner with the congressman
Mhm.
back in Tampa, and I sat next to an Army veteran who had half of a face,
Oh,
and really nice man, had a great conversation, um, just acted like nothing was wrong whatsoever. And you got to give them a lot of credit for that because, when they go home, who knows what they're really going through. They don't show it, obviously. They just try their best to hide it. And it's sad. It really is sad.
so many are suffering
And
from the post-traumatic stress too.
yes, yes, I was getting to that. Actually, now that you bring that up, I have been working with a Navy veteran for 2 years who went down in a helicopter and suffers traumatically from post-traumatic stress. And he will probably, if I don't contact him, give him a chance to have some things that he wants to tell me, he'll contact me. And it just goes on, as I mentioned, and on. These people live with this nightmare. They gave and served again to our country, and now they're I mean, they're paying a price for it. Not that it was a bad price. We honor them. That's why one of the reasons that we have to honor them. Um, Many of these veterans, they gave up their personal rights, their freedoms, and their safety. They were told where to live and what to do. And when they could or could not see their family, they slept in probably harder beds and strange beds and all the uncomfortable living conditions and dangerous missions that they were on. So these are the important things that we have to remember. Again, not only during Military May, but that's a good start,
Mhm.
but every day of the year. And there's something that really annoys me that I have to tell you about, and that is our media. We
Mhm.
don't hear enough about them. Our media seems to focus on current events and high profile stories, which may not always include, issues and that directly impact our veterans. And, actually, newsrooms have limited resources now and may prioritize less stories, with public interest or more sensational angle because they're going to focus on other things. And personally, as a disabled Army National Guard veteran, I'm appalled and I'm shocked that this is taking place. And every day when you turn on the news, the last thing you might hear, if you're lucky, is about our veterans, our disabled veterans, our not just because a veteran didn't go to war or battle doesn't mean that they didn't do something instrumental in supporting the United States. And the ones that aren't disabled, that unfortunately live with this every day, with post-traumatic stress and anxiety disorders from tinnitus, like myself, who didn't go to war, but yet suffered from this, from loud noises in basic training. And who at that time knew when I came home and said to my lovely fiance, gee, do you hear that ringing? Do you hear those crickets? She had no idea what I was talking about. But over the years, this worsens and you develop hearing loss because the hairs in your cochlear nerves in the back of your brain are damaged from all of those noises. So, for me, one day I woke up and approximately 15 years ago on my birthday and had four screaming noises going through my head. I was horrified. I thought I had brain damage. I wouldn't get out of bed for 4 days. And my wife, very social person I was, just always kidding around and having a good sense of humor. And it's not just me, it's the disabled veterans and the veterans that and non-veterans that are suffering from this. Who knew what this was? And for most people, as I learned with the hundreds that I've helped, they'd go to their general practitioner and you'd hear, well, you have tinnitus. Like, tinnitus, what's that? It's ringing in that's ringing in the ears. I'm thinking it's tendonitis, something in my arm. And well, how do you live with it, doc? Well, you just have to suck it up. And that is a horrible thing to tell someone because there are so many remedies out there, hearing aids, cognitive behavioral therapy, and ways that you can help. And, I will tell you that the VA does a good job in working. I've attended, actually, I've been part of some of these post-traumatic stress seminars that they put on. I actually was in a 6-month class with other veterans, and I learned a lot. I learned about post-traumatic stress and how that becomes the monster and how we have to try and fight the monster by using, they teach you about all the core values. They learn about your past and all the things that you've done. Some people were successful football players, in college. Some people were baseball players. Some people, they had great backgrounds. So these are core values that, we go to and we utilize to remember to fight the monster of the post-traumatic stress. But yet it really doesn't make that much of a difference because it's something that you have to keep practicing. It's something that you live with all your life. And it's embedded in your head. So when you smile at Joe or Mary walking down the street or you're in a conversation where you can really hardly hear what people are saying, everything sounds great until you really go home and 24/7 with sleepless nights are suffering.
I think our audience would be very interested to know, because you also work out a lot. How did you get the nickname Athletic Beast?
If I'll just say in my mid-70s, actually it started in my late 60s. I did a lot of long distance bicycling, road bicycling. And, I'd find myself at the gym, spinning on a bicycle for an hour, getting off and lifting up weights and, trying to keep good muscle tone and attending some aerobics classes and just staying in good shape. And people would look at me and, they'd say, gee, I don't know, I must be much older than you. And, geez, I wish I can do what you're doing. And I'm like, well, well, they're like, how old are you? I was 72 or 68 at the time. And they're like, no, I just turned 58. And they're thinking I'm younger than they are. So over time, going to the same gym, seeing the same people, making friends. One day I walked in and someone told me, "Hey, there comes the athletic beast." So everybody seemed to have uh, get a laugh out of that name, but saw it as a serious name for myself. And then actually, the gym I was in, I won the most strongest in the gym for the particular month, whatever it may be, October and November. So they give you a little award. And of course, on the bottom, somebody put the caption Athletic Beast. So on my birthday, every year, I wear a shirt that has the number of my birthday with Athletic Beast on the bottom of it.
I also want to bring up for those who are not familiar with your background that you've actually appeared on ABC World News Tonight, and that is quite an accomplishment.
It was very interesting. It was actually part of uh, Mike Minder, I believe his name was. I believe he's retired now, but he interviewed me, and it was more of a health interview and seminar on. It kept me on there a long time, basically, and discussed all the attributes that he felt I had, and my core values again in helping people, or the hundreds of people with tinnitus. Some of the awards, and it's really not about me, presidential awards and for community service. The mayor of Tampa, Florida, proclaiming Tampa National Tinnitus Month. So raising over $20,000 for the American Tinnitus Association. So all of that was interviewed. They wanted it. They were very interested in me and wanted to know how I lived with all these noises. And I was actually trained by a tinnitus professor. I was fortunate to find him, and we got me started on hearing aids and white noise. So these are noises that become more pleasant to the brain than the noise that I'm hearing, or the noises that I'm hearing. Um, and it's not in your ear like most people think. It's in your brain. 95% of tinnitus is in the brain, not in the ear. And so your brain becomes accustomed and locks on to that noise that becomes very pleasing to you. And eventually what we call habituate. And like now, I'm talking about it, so I hear the noise in my left ear, but it doesn't bother me anymore. Because this morning, when I got up, what was more important was to see the sun shining and the blue skies, and kissing my lovely wife good morning and petting my 17-year-old Chihuahua. I mean, those things are more important, and that's what I try and teach people. I go to their core values and say to them, listen, look at all the things that you've done. I'm working actually with a gentleman right now. I was on with him this morning on a Zoom call, who is 84 years old and actually a non-veteran, but I work with both, and he actually lost his loving wife at 54 years, and his tinnitus just went crazy, and it was very light. So this is what happens where the people's brains, particularly a loss, or it could be, a hardship, it could be um, finance situation, something happens, and their brain just focuses on the tinnitus, and because it's the only thing that they really, that's there, that they just seem to becomes a magnet because of the loss of whatever that might be. They develop anxiety disorders, an easy way of saying that. And then they go into some of them go into post-traumatic stress, and they don't sleep at night. and some of them go to medications. And unfortunately, a lot of these medications are what we call ototoxic, and they make the noise louder. So, yeah.
I was going to say is I'm quite sure a lot of us, a lot of people out there don't realize that over 700 million people that include veterans, disabled veterans, and non-veterans are haunted by phantom sounds.
Well, such a true statement and such a really horrible statement to even imagine that many millions of people. And that brings me back to the if I may, to the media again, and being appalled and shocked, particularly more so for the newsrooms having limited resources. They can take someone like me, okay, who is educated and helped hundreds of people and put me on their staff. And, maybe every 3 days or so, I can get on and report something and keep it going. Keep it going. This is something that's so crucial to the United States and to the world. We need more people to realize what our veterans did and how much they suffered. And we need to report on it. We need to tell them about it. We need to interview them.
Well, Sal, you have my recommendation, and I'm extending an invitation to all Florida TV stations, news directors, assignment editors, anchors, reporters. Please reach out, because he's not going to be in competition with you. He's a senior, he's a veteran, he's a disabled Army National Guard veteran, and he could be your senior correspondent. Doesn't mean he has to work every day. Like you said, you could work 2 or 3 days, 1 or 2 days a month, or periodically. It can be done. It's been done on the Dr. Oz show for various correspondents. And it would be wonderful. You can certainly contact Sal at TVTinnitus@gmail.com. It's also being shown in the text. And Sal, before we leave, I want you to have a special message from you, but I also want to interject that Sal is popular. He's going to be taping a wonderful show tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern time with the Mike Wagner show. And that show goes globally. So I encourage all the TV stations to please step up to the plate and call Sal, at least through the email. And I know you have his phone number. We've sent plenty of news tips to the various stations. So Sal, do you have a special message before we leave?
The message really is, which I think about a lot and actually every day, and actually explain this to people, is that we can't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. We try to, what we call, it actually becomes in research that we go through with psychologists, we catastrophize. Because we're feeling something today, that means that we're going to feel it tomorrow. And we have to be heartfelt and love ourselves and understand that, every day is a different day. We can't worry about the past. We have to take some deep breathing, a few deep breaths, and just get back into the present and worry about tomorrow, and have a heartfelt love for your neighbor, and particularly your veterans.
That's right. Well, until next time, this has been Nola Joy Carello, for the president of Nola Joy Carello Productions. I want to say, create heaven in your heart and starlight in your soul. And remember, hire a veteran, Sal Gentile, TVTinnitus@gmail.com. Take care.
Thank you, Jay. Have a great day.